Hey guys, this is gonna be the second part video of the shell guide. So for those who don't know, I made a part 1 where we talk about shell progression and what to farm, what not to farm for early game and also mid game. So from actually the normal rarity shell up until the epic. Then we didn't talk about the mythic because still didn't unlock all the mythic because I'm not level 50. And in this one it's gonna be much faster. We're just gonna talk about the passive bonus that you can see here. And as usual, remember to like the video, subscribe if you didn't already, and let's get into it. So first thing first, the basic attribute of the shell, I think it's obvious, but they change depending on the rarity of the shell. The higher the rarity, the better the basic attribute. So for example, this one, fully ascended mythic shell, it's 35 speed. This one, I think he has a fully ascended, yes, fully ascended epic shell is 30 speed. And the passive bonus, it's what we're gonna discuss in this video, they are all the same. So for example, in a striker shell, you can find the same passive bonus as a healer shell. So the bonus are all shared. It's not like you find different stuff in one and different in another. You just need to reroll until you find what you want based on the specific role of the character where you equip the shell. So in simple term, this one is for Rosa. Rosa is a DPS, so what we're looking for is bonus that are fit for a DPS character. Here from the exclamation mark, I think it's called in English, it's where you can open this tab and you can see all the possible bonus that you can get. And then if you click here, you can also see, depending on the rarity, because every passive bonus has a different rarity, it can go from blue up to red, which is the highest rarity. And they also tell you the range of the bonus that you can get. So for example, amplification, if you roll a blue bonus, it's 60 points of attack. If you roll a red bonus, you can go from 150 to 180 points. So you know how much you can get. And let's talk about DPS first. For a DPS, I would say you are quite confident to go for overclocking because it increases the attack in percentage, and percentage usually, especially in endgame, I would say it's much better than flat stat because it's gonna be higher amount of attack. And I mean, if you have character, like imagine you're using Tiamat, and Tiamat, it's also, I wouldn't call it a DPS, but it's a nuker. In that case, you're not gonna go for attack, you're gonna go for HP on percentage because she deals damage based on the amount of XP that she has. But overall, for DPS, unless they have specific skill that work in a different way, you want to go for attack in percentage. Then for passive slot number 2, I would say usually you go for either crit rate, crit damage, or in some specific case for speed, but overall I would go for crit rate. If you have a character with a lot of crit rate by itself or because of the module, you can go for crit damage in that case, depending on the build, but it's either one or the other usually. It's not a difficult choice. Everything else is for other role in my opinion. And then for slot 3, this is the most, not weird, maybe complicated one, I'm not sure how to call it, because the bonus are a little bit less straightforward compared to slot 1 and slot 2. And I would say overall, Assault is very easy choice for DPS. It just increases the animus damage dealt, like the damage dealt by the animus. So it's obviously, as a DPS, you want to deal as much damage as possible. Again, if you have some specific character built in a very specific way, maybe you want something else. I don't think most people want to go for defense, but if you want, you can also decrease the damage taken by the animus that use that shell. But yeah, overall, you either go for attack, or maybe if you roll a good one for your attribute, you can go for this one. So for example, Blade of Oddity, it means that if your character is Oddity attribute, is gonna deal more damage. So for example, if it's blue rarity, is gonna if the character is odd attribute, is gonna deal 4% extra damage. If the character is another attribute, this bonus is gonna be useless. So if you want a generic one and you wanna reroll too much, you can go for Assault. If you want the specific one, you can go for the specific one based on the attribute. Of course, the one based on the attribute can be higher. As you can see, this one goes from 2 to 8%. And this one, they can reach up to 12%, so obviously it's more, but it's gonna be more difficult to find, and you probably will not have a crazy amount of resources because you're gonna have to reroll a lot, right? Unless you're very lucky, which is not my case, unfortunately, you're probably gonna have to reroll a lot. So this is what I go for my DPS. As you can see, overclocking, attack percentage, penetration is crit rate, and on Rosa you can actually go for crit damage, is actually good also. And then we have Assault, which is damage dealt in general. Then, to give you an example, let's go for I forgot the name, Marvel, okay. And I just built this one, even if it's not super good. So, for other character, I would say slot 1, you can either go for HP in percentage, so for example this one, or defense. In percentage, it's either one or the other. Again, I'm not a huge fan of flat bonus points, so I never go for that one. I would say it's always better to go for the percentage one. And yeah, I don't think there's too much to talk about that. It's if it's a character that is built on HP, you go for HP. If it's anything else, you probably want to go for defense, unless you have a very specific reason and you prefer HP. But overall, I would say it's not something you wanna like spend too much resource. If it's a character like Marvel and just you care about the speed, making go fast, and have effect accuracy, HP or defense is not that important, so don't waste resource on that, in my opinion. Slot 2, I would say, let's see, speed, obviously, it's the best one, and look at this, like, you can go up to 12, 14 with this rarity of shell. As you can see, the rarity change because this one is an epic shell. So epic shell have bonus up until epic, and the mythic shell have bonus up until mythic. And of course, because the highest bonus is higher rarity, the minimum bonus is also higher rarity for the mythic, so they start from blue. And that makes sense because they can go up to red. This one only goes up to yellow, so they start from green, which is quite sad, but that it is what it is. And then again, I would say you either go for speed or effect accuracy, but most of the time you're gonna go for speed, I'm quite sure, especially early game when speed is the most important thing in the world. It's also for PvP, you're gonna go for speed, trust me. And slot 3, we have more interesting stuff. Let's see. Again, if you want to play more defensively, you could go for damage taken decreased. But I would say in case of character like this, you want to go for either Insight or Gaze. So they are opposite. I would say Insight is more relevant for PvP, while Gaze is more relevant in general, but especially for PvE content because it's longer. And the reason is that Insight is that at the start of the battle increase the animus effect resistance and effect accuracy by 32 to 40%, but this effect decreased by 20% at the end of each turn. So basically after a couple of turns, it's gonna be 0. And this is more important for PvP because you want to be sure to have very good effect accuracy on turn 1 to make sure that you apply whatever debuff or like malus it's the character does to the enemy team. While for PvE, I would say Gaze is better because at the end of each turn, increase the animus effect accuracy by 2 to 7% up to 5 stacks. So this one is gonna build up with time. This one is gonna give you like the straight up highest bonus possible at the start, and then it's gonna decrease. And in general, I mean, I also use Marvel for PvE, so I prefer Gaze, but you could go for Insight if you just want to be more confident in PvP. Everything else I don't think is that great of an idea for a character that you want to build on speed and go for like speed and effect accuracy, which is everybody except DPS and dealer overall, except some specific case. And yes, so I would say that's it for this kind of characters. And then we have, I mean, my Linglo is not a very good example because she's not built the shell. But let's just pretend it was a fully ascended shell. For a character that is a healer like Linglo, I would definitely go for HP or defense, in her case HP. And then second pass law, you don't really care about speed in Linglo most of the time. Again, it depends on some situation, but most of the time I would say generally I don't care about the speed of Linglo. So I would definitely go for healing Dawn in percentage. That's very, very good. If you have character that you want to use more because of the shield, then in that case shield on percentage is also a good idea. But overall I would say yes, for this kind of character you either go for healing Dawn or shield provided in percentage, and healing in this case is the best choice, obviously. And then we have passive slot 3, I would say for this kind of character, I actually forgot the bonus for healer, let me see, this one is not interesting. Synergy, okay, the synergy, you definitely want to go for synergy in this case. And when the animus applies healing or shield in battle, increase the target damage dealt by 0.9 to 1.5% and is stack up to 5 stacks, so that's very, very good. Other than that, let me see, this one didn't deal damage in a turn, decrease damage. This one also is not bad, I would say, for a character like Linglo or healer in general. But I don't know, they are usually built quite defensively, so they have a good amount, if you build them properly, they have a good amount of HP and or defense, so I would go for synergy instead of defensive stance. But if your character dies too much, you can actually go for defensive stance, and that could be a solution in that case. But yeah, I think, let me check, the red bonus is when animus applies healing or shield in battle, increase the target damage dealt by... Oh wow, yes, I would go for synergy. I would definitely prefer synergy. Too bad I will probably not build Linglo shell before the beta end, but yes. This is my take. Either one of the other of these two bonus, and everything else is not that important. This one is for the highest speed, so maybe for the supporting character could be interesting, but again, the supporting character, if they do a good job, the match is not gonna last that long. At least for the meta that we have now in early game. Things are obviously gonna change in the future, but as of now, I would say effect accuracy is more important for supportive characters, and that's it really for the passive. So I think we covered everything for now. I'm probably gonna make one more video for the mythic shell. I'm not sure if I'm gonna reach level 50 in the beta. I'm 45, so maybe it's doable. I think, yeah, I think this one, Rengo Kutsu, is gonna be at level 50. This one for sure I'm gonna unlock, and it shouldn't be easy enough to farm. Last one I'm not sure. If I unlock it, I'm gonna make a video about mythic shell. Otherwise, I'm gonna make it when the official comes out. And that's it. Thank you for watching the video. I hope it was useful. See you in the next one. Have a great day. Bye bye.